No newspapers, no telly. What joy. But living in a dormitory, communal life, and all the little irritations and peculiarities it generates, that I should find tough. Young men still come forward to take it on. Will there be enough of them to fill the large new abbey high up on a hill, which the monks have built to move to from their present old army huts and Victorian mansion? At meals, the Cistercian rule of silence applies at its strictest. The food still plain and monotonous, but not as meagre as it once was. Nowadays, for instance, the monks have cheese, but still no meat or fish or eggs. It all somehow reminds me a little of army life, with the refectory a kind of holy silent Nephi. After Mass and breakfast, into the fields. The monks farm 1,000 and more acres and pride themselves on being good farmers. After all, they've been at it for some 10 centuries. It's part of their rule thus to provide by their own labour for their own needs, not to be a burden on others. Yet some of the younger monks feel that their old-fashioned farming is too remote from today's technological world. They'd sooner work in factories. The 20th century, with all its unresolved doubts and conflicts, has somehow penetrated even this enclosed order. The Bishop of Woolwich, as it were, has got into the woodwork. Tailleur de Chardin and Paul Tillich are scuttling about under the floorboards. The older monks, like Father Ambrose, who prepares the young monks for the priesthood, are content to stick to their rule, and Thomas Aquinas.
You do find a man who has in him the love of God, just as you have a man who believes in God and hopes in God. Then, these supernatural virtues, then, are gifts given to us by God, really raising us above anything that is natural to ourselves.
How far do your domains reach, Father Abbot?
Well, it goes up to the skyline that you see there and even beyond it. It is a long, narrow property. These trees there being the boundary at that side.
Yes, I see. And then what about the actual enclosure of the abbey? I mean, when we said that you're an enclosed order, what are you enclosed in?
Well, the papal enclosure actually is this hedge there and that long V-shaped piece up there with what is known on the ordnance map there along the trees as the Nuns' Walk.
Yes, I know that walk, yes.
Yes.
And that's part of the enclosure?
Yes.
But then what does that exactly mean? Because they're obviously not enclosed in that during the day when they're working and so on.
No, but during the hours of night, that is from Compline until early morning, there's a very strict enclosure that nobody can go out without a special permission.
I see. How many years have you been a monk, Father Abbot?
43 now.
43 years. That's about the same as I've earned my living. Well, now, during those 43 years, really, you have had no deep fundamental doubts.
No.
I mean, when you go to the Mass, you...
Absolutely not.
You see, this is an extraordinarily difficult thing to explain to a child of our times.
Yes.
And it's extraordinary because it's almost incomprehensible.
Yes.
But that is so.
That is so.
Right. Do you think that the new monks joining now will ever be able to say that, Father Abbot, when they're as old as you are, that they've never had a doubt? This is an age of doubt, isn't it?
Yes. I don't know. It's only they will be able to answer that question.
When someone comes to you with the idea of joining the order, of having it, they say, well, I think I have a vocation. What's the basis of the judgment joining the order, of having it? They say, well, I think I have a vocation. What's the basis of the judgment